Hello students, welcome to English Literature Pathshala. This is again a video lecture in the series of figures of speech. I have already discussed with you many figures of speech. In this video lecture, I'll discuss with you three important figures of speech which are often confused with one another. So this video lecture will clarify the concept, and these figures of speech are oxymoron, antithesis, and epigram. So generally, these figures of speech are based on the points of contradiction. So if you watch this video till the end, so you'll be able to understand the major difference also. I'll explain these three terms with the help of day-to-day examples and also the literary examples. And most of the time you find that questions related to these figures of speech are asked in various competitive examinations, especially in UGC NET examination. So what is this oxymoron? Now, this is a very common figure of speech, and you must have studied this figure of speech at 10+2 level, and while evaluating a poem, you must have encountered this figure of speech. Now, in an oxymoron, two contradictory words are placed side by side. In an oxymoron, two contradictory words are placed side by side, and generally these two contradictory words, one is adjective, other is noun, and noun is preceded by adjective. It happens generally. For example, if teacher says in the class, you are irregularly regular in the class. So in this irregularly regular, we have this is oxymoronic expression. Or if I say that this is clearly confused, or if we say dark light. Now look at these words. Two contradictory words are placed side by side. Now, or if we say deafening silence. So these are the examples where the two contradictory words are put together. Generally, the writers use oxymoron in order to give effect to the poem. Meaning is, it does not mean that these sentences do not carry the meaning. They carry the meaning, but this is the oxymoronic expression. You see, if you read some literary texts, there are many examples, especially in Shakespearean plays you find many examples. Hamlet you have studied at PG level. In Hamlet there is a statement of Hamlet, and which is the best example of this oxymoronic expression, where in connection with Claudius he says that I must be cruel only to be kind. I must be cruel only to be kind. So this is actually oxymoronic expression. Or in Romeo and Juliet there is a phrase beautiful tyrant. How can tyrant be beautiful? Beautiful tyrant, contradictory words. Tennyson said faithful, unfaithful in one reference, in one context. Hemingway also said delighted sorrow. How can sorrow be delighted? So contradictory words are put together. In Julius Caesar, Shakespeare said fearful bravery. How can bravery be fearful? So when two contradictory words are put together, we have the example of oxymoron. Now or Milton says darkness visible. So how can darkness be visible? Two contradictory words are put together. Now related to this figure of speech, we have another figure of speech called antithesis. Now antithesis means in an antithesis, a statement is made which is contradicted in next part. There is one statement, and that statement is contradicted in next part. That is, a sentence has two parts. In the first part, a statement is made, and in the second part, the contradiction is made. But all these things have done to make it more effective, though it looks quite strange. Now, for example, if we say united we stand, divided we fall, this is an example of antithesis. United we stand, divided we fall. So first part is united we stand, second divided we fall, contradictory. Now, or we say man proposes, God disposes, again an example of antithesis. Now the purpose of antithesis is not to refute the first statement, but to emphasize on the aspect. This is just for putting more emphasis. Or if we say they speak like saints and act like devils, they speak like saints and act like devils. Again, antithesis, first two parts, the statement of the first part is contradicted in second part. Now, if we take some examples from literary texts, so one very important example from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Now, there is a statement, not that I loved Caesar less, not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Two parts. First part, statement is made. In second part, it is contradicted. But this is just for the sake of emphasis. Or Alexander Pope says, to err is human, to forgive divine. Two parts are there. One is the first, the statement of the first part is contradicted in to err is human, to forgive divine. Now Shakespeare once again, said in one of his plays, give every man thy ear, give every man thy ear, but few thy. Now you see so what you find is that in antithesis you have two parts. The first part is contradicted in second part, but this is for the sake of emphasis. Now let us come to third figure of speech, which is also related to that is called epigram. You must have heard the epigrammatic style of Francis Bacon. Now epigram is actually a clear and witty statement, very concise, very compact, very short statement. It's witty, but it poses contradiction in a sentence. Other words, sentence itself seems to us contradictory. For example, Wordsworth's famous statement, the child is the father of man. Now, the child is the father of the man. Apparently, it seems quite contradictory. This is an example of epigram, but it contains a lot of meaning. Now, our Voltaire says, speech was given to man to conceal his thoughts. This again is example of epigram. Or William Blake in one of his poems says to see a world in a grain of sand. So what you find is that in an epigram, it's a very pithy, witty statement, and superficially it seems to us that it is quite contradictory, but at the deeper level it contains a lot of meaning. So I have explained oxymoron, antithesis and epigram in this video.